Hi, welcome to Kristin's Corner. I'm Kristin Huffman, and this is a show where I'm going to be interviewing experts who happen to be mostly my friends in the industry and discussing trends and changes in the business so that we can all be prepared. Today, I am speaking with the illustrious VP Boyle. He is the creator of the Musical Theater Forum, which has been running for over 20 years, and MaxTheatrix Professional Musical Theater Workshops. He's also the author of Audition Freedom, the Irreverent Wellness Guide for Theater People. I have that book as well. And he is the curriculum architect and creator of 3 accredited musical theater programs, the New York Film Academy, the Hushian College in Studio, and USC's BFA in Musical Theater. Not like you're not an overachiever. And then he's currently writing and developing an edgy, dark musical anthology series targeted for streaming platforms and 3 different rock musical theaters, musicals, right? Yeah. VP Boyle, yay!
Hey.
I wanted you to be my first guest so badly because you were, when I came to New York 20 some years ago, and I'd already kind of had a little bit, I have a regional career going and stuff, but my agents are like, listen, you have to get New York credits and you have to understand how this business works here. And so Phil Hall was coaching me at the time, and he said, this is the guy, this is the class that you need to go to. You are just always on the cutting edge. You understand the business. You were the first person who ever talked to me about it being a business, and
Yeah.
they didn't teach me that in school. They just taught me how to sing, So what are the challenges and the changes that you see? Like, how do you handle your own career right now and the changes in the industry?
Well, I think I'm a different scenario because, I just entered my 50s and I've been doing this a long time. And so my journey right now is about what's next in terms of the next decade. I feel like I've reinvented myself every 10 or so years. I've been in huge shows, production contract shows. And then, I've taught. I spent a decade working in higher education. And now I'm like really fixated on creating new musical content, both for stage and screen. And that's what excites me most.
I tell my students at the university and also my private studio, I tell them to have a wide portfolio of services that they're going to offer so that they can just work more, which is exactly what you did. So, like, what kind of training would you suggest students or people just moving to New York, what kind of training would you suggest they get now?
Musical theater professionals have to do so many things really, really well. It's not just acting. You have to be able to dance like a demon. You have to be able to sing. Not only that, you have to be able to sing so many more different styles now than ever before because you have to do all of the popular music styles, pop and rock and everything in between, as well as musical theater, standard, contemporary. So the requirements are extreme. And the hardest part for people in programs is trying to fit it all in 4 years. Train yourself as an actor first, and then get as good as you can at all the other things. People ask me all the time, what's the fastest way to book a Broadway show? I'm like, be funny, sing pop rock, and dance your face off. We're in the middle of the pandemic. We do not know what it's going to look like. I think the best strategy is to stay curious, to stay excited, to be okay. It's not what it was.
Right.
It can't be what it was. The
Right.
casting process has changed. What Broadway level musical theater is going to be is going to be something new. And there are shows that have to totally be reinvented if we're going to explore them in the future. And that also means too that how shows are created and developed and the stories that are told are going to shift dramatically. I'm very excited about that.
Well,
But
that's
again,
how you sort of beat me to my next section. It's like tips and trends. Like, what are the trends
yeah.
that you see happening?
Well, the easiest one is that, popular music, pop rock is here to stay. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it has found a way to live beautifully. I'm so excited about it. On the Broadway stage. And I remember I was fighting the good war when I said pop rock is coming. You've got to learn how to sing pop rock. We're old enough to remember that war. Well, I won that war. Obviously, I think the biggest thing is that we now are in a digital world where a stagecraft has to be thought of as both stage and screen. Now, COVID and the pandemic forced everyone into a world of Zoom and digital submissions, and musical theater professionals figured out very quickly how to do it on both sides really well. We're not going to go back. Standing in the backyard, Kool-Aid mustache and butterfly wings, hearing Andrea McCardle sing on the hi-fi in the den. Here's the good news. It's so exciting. What used to take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get all of the Broadway level casting offices to know who you were, what you did, and what you were right for can happen now in a matter of minutes. You know, the barriers have actually been eliminated because now they can look at who they want to, when they want to, on any device. So, you know, casting directors can be like in their pajamas, you know, sitting in bed on their phone, going through submissions. At any point of the casting process, before you get the audition, the appointment, pre-screen, after you've gone in, after you've submitted your self-tape, before the callback, before the second callback, before the final look, you know, decision, offer, at every stage of the game, every single person on the casting team and creative team is looking at your online presence and your digital content. That comes with good things and that comes with bad things. The good part of that is that you get to control your narrative now.
Yeah.
Right? You get to offer a wide range of content that you curate and produce and offer up on your website, on your YouTube channel, wherever it is, you know, through vocal reel and acting reel, etc. I fight for us to know the truth. And they can see what it would take years in open calls to see. And it really does empower the current musical theater artists to cover a lot of ground quickly if they're prepared with their online presence and digital content.
What is one of the first things that you would suggest right upon graduation, or like me, I didn't come right away, but when you step into New York or just into the professional scene, what would one of the first things that you would suggest that they do?
You know, there are different schools of thought, and I think your website has to be your name as a .com, right? So, and your SEO search has to be so that I can type in your name and I'm going to find you, and and find your website with the content you want me to see, right? I think the biggest thing is to have, you know, some contemporary musical theater and some pop rock to show me what you do performance-wise. And now we're really looking at people as individuals more, I think, to say, oh, what are they about? Who are they? And do they have something to say with their art?
Right.
That's going to go farther than your, you know, your college or a fancy credit.
I'm going to suggest everyone take your musical theater forum. Seriously,
Well, thank you.
It's MaxTheatrix.com.
Yeah.
Oh, great. All of your classes, all of the things that you offer there. And I can't tell you what a huge difference it made in my life. I came in within 5 years, I was making my Broadway debut. And I credit you with some of that as well. You're like one of the best marketing branding people as well. And I think people don't understand when they come out of college, you're a product.
And ironically, that class is still running after 20 something years, and still has the same value it had when I created it. Yep. The conversations look a little different because the industry has shifted.
Right.
But the journey experience is very similar. You know, I sometimes say stay in your lane. And I don't mean that to say you can't do a lot of different things. But the fact is that we have so much beautifully trained musical theater talent in New York City proper that you don't get to do more than what you are. You know, your essence. And I love the shifts that are happening in how we talk about casting. Right. The conversation should be about, you know, who are you? You know, I happen to think I'm pretty warm and fuzzy guy to my friends and family, but you know, my work is intense. And until I got very clear that I come off with my physical stature and my work as dark and intense and aggressive or bold or, you know, whatever, until I realized, oh, I'm not going to book, you know, the warm fuzzy roles. I'm going to book villains. I'm going to book intense, big Gothic shows. Yeah. And the minute I accepted my size and my power and my intensity, I booked Sunset Boulevard and I booked Scarlet Pimpernel. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like click, click. But I think at the end of the day, you got to go in and be you. and let them decide if the show and the role is right for you. If you live in that world, great. But if you're trying to be an idea of something, you don't stand a chance.
And do you think that also works for some of the old school regional theaters? We're talking
That's a very
Broadway.
good question.
And most
Yes.
people aren't going to work on Broadway, even though we love them too.
Yes. 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 Here's the thing. Regional theaters are the new development playgrounds. And colleges and universities are developing new musicals as well. I want to go back to something you asked, which was, what is the best thing that students can do to prepare themselves once they get out of college?
Yep.
I think knowing which market they're going to go to is important. Entertainment is an industry that favors the young. Those are the years when you really are building up your understanding and your network, right? And as you and I both know, 20 years later, still being pals, this industry is about moving up together and then breaking through and working with your friends, someone you went to college with, someone you were in a show with. They're Broadway casting directors, they're Hollywood directors, they are producers. That is how it goes. So I think deciding whether you want a TV film centric market or a theater centric market, knowing that you can do both, but deciding where you're gonna go and getting there sooner than later is a smart move.
You are like the best cheerleader I know for other people. You picked up the phone. You probably don't remember this. You picked up the phone one time for me and got me an audition for Miss Claus Radio City like the next day. My agent.
I did? Okay, now you remember.
I didn't get it, but I got the audition. And that was cool. And you're such a cheerleader for other people. What are your own goals for 2021?
I'm really focused on my writing because that's where I'm finding the most joy, and I feel like I have the most value right now. And again, I'm curious about where the industry is going to reposition itself. For the last couple of years, I've been developing a new musical anthology series. It's structured like La Ronde, so there's one kind of anti-hero that's featured in every episode and then cycled out in the next. And every episode is a different music genre. And then the other thing I was working on before the industry shut down was this immersive, dark, kind of choose your own ending musical set around Day of the Dead in a dystopian Mexican cantina. So it's very eclectic, and it's specifically being created for a Vegas market. And so I'm excited about that.
I will tell you, I make all of my students, my own voice students, acting students, write out their goal statements, and we do it present tense, like you coached me. Like it is May of 2021, and we write it in present, and then I make them end with your saying, "This is my truth, and it is non-negotiable." They all know that saying. Yeah, you've been a huge influence on me, and
thank you.
I mean, you're just always ahead of the trends.
I run MaxTheatrix with the fabulous Erin Galligan-Sturl, and when the pandemic hit, we were in the middle of a casting workshop, which we moved online. Erin and I really made a clear decision not to do our studio classes until we could be in a studio safely. I wanted to do something that really felt like it was designed to be taught online. And I'd been thinking about doing this class for a while. So we did a digital content workshop for musical theater professionals. And that's been kind of a hit because it is
definitely
a combination of conversation, assignment, and outcome that really moves people's mindset from auditioning in person to how do I create the online narrative that I need to be cast.
The industry is not going to go backwards now. It's not going to just resume. It's going to continue doing this. So you're teaching them something that's going to, again, help them market themselves. This is all wonderful. I wish I could talk to you all day. I don't know how I'm going to edit this down to just, a small amount of time because I'm going to include everything in there. But I'm going to do my first sign off, and you'll tell me if it's not good and if I should change it. So this is you're helping me develop this. This is what I got. Thank you so much, VP Boyle. So I want you to be prepared for this industry before you step out of your corner. So tune in next time for more trends and tips on Kristin's Corner.
Yeah. I would do it one more time, and don't try to be cute.
Okay.
Hey, we're gonna do this thing, and it's me, and I'm the one to tell you.
Okay, great. Listen, I want you to be prepared for this industry before you step out of your corner. So tune in next time for more trends and tips on Kristin's Corner.
Perfect. That was perfect.
Yay, thank you.